What is ADHD? Meaning, signs, causes, and how to cope. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects both children and adults. It is characterized by signs such as difficulty with focus, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. ADHD can make it challenging to complete tasks, follow through on responsibilities, and interact with others. It is common for everyone to experience some level of difficulty with attention or controlling impulsive behavior. But for those with ADHD, the problems can be so pervasive and persistent that they can interfere with every aspect of their lives. The first known documentation of ADHD was from 1902, when it was coined for some children. Since then, the condition has been given numerous names. One of these being attention deficit is often still used today, although the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders only lists ADHD to describe individuals with this disorder, regardless of whether they display signs of hyperactivity. ADHD is often diagnosed in childhood, but can also be diagnosed later in life. It is common for many people to recognize they have ADHD later in life or go their whole lives without a formal diagnosis. While the signs of ADHD can change with time, they can still interfere with an individual's functioning, specifically in their relationships, health, work, and finances. Signs of ADHD. It's important to understand that experiencing some signs of ADHD does not automatically mean someone has the disorder. Many ADHD signs can be common and relatable, but they do not necessarily indicate ADHD. Additionally, individuals with ADHD may not exhibit all signs or traits and may have varying levels of each trait depending on the situation. This list of signs is not exhaustive. General signs. Below are some of the common experiences and traits individuals with ADHD may report. Hyperactivity, e.g. not being able to sit still or having racing thoughts. Easily distracted, e.g. zoning out during conversations or switching focus during tasks. Often forgetful, e.g. they may forget birthdays, instructions, or homework. Have a low tolerance for boredom and need a lot of stimulation. Time management difficulties, e.g. getting to appointments on time and procrastinating on important tasks. They may miss important information because they have zoned out, hyper-focusing on tasks that interest them, to the detriment of their basic needs, such as eating and sleeping. Impulsivity, e.g. reckless spending or interrupting others. They may have trouble getting to sleep, staying asleep, and waking up on time. Motivation issues. Low self-esteem after years of not meeting their and other people's expectations. Executive dysfunction, e.g. difficulty executing and completing tasks from start to finish. Difficulties regulating emotions, e.g. difficulty managing strong emotions, sometimes resulting in outbursts. Types. The DSM-5 criteria for ADHD lists 3 presentations of the condition that people with the condition fall into: predominantly inattentive presentation, predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation, and combined hyperactive impulsive and inattentive presentation. Predominantly inattentive presentation. The predominantly inattentive presentation of ADHD is characterized by difficulties in maintaining focus, following instructions, and organizing tasks, often resulting in forgetfulness and distractibility. Predominantly hyperactive and impulsive presentation. predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation of ADHD is characterized by excessive activity, restlessness, impulsivity, and difficulty waiting or taking turns, often leading to disruptive behavior. Combined hyperactive impulsive and an attentive presentation. The combined hyperactive impulsive and inattentive presentation of ADHD is characterized by a significant presence of both inattentive and hyperactive impulsive symptoms, leading to challenges in multiple areas of functioning. ADHD in girls and women. While ADHD is more commonly diagnosed in males than females, with a typical ratio of 3:1, this discrepancy suggests that many girls with ADHD remain unidentified and untreated, leading to long-term social, educational, and mental health consequences. A 2020 consensus summarized key points for the detection of ADHD in females. Females present with both inattentive and hyperactive impulsive signs. Although hyperactive impulsive signs may be less severe than in males, emotional issues such as low mood, emotional ability, anxiety, and emotional regulation problems may be more common or severe in females with ADHD. Girls with ADHD are vulnerable to bullying, increased school dropout, academic underachievement, and decreased self-esteem and self-concept. They may not show as many behavioral problems commonly associated with males, and compensatory behaviors may mask behaviors and impairments. These functional coping strategies
such as alcohol or drug use, may be used to deal with emotional problems, social isolation, and rejection. Girls and women with ADHD may become skilled at camouflaging their struggles using compensatory strategies, leading to an underestimation of their underlying problems. Consequently, females with ADHD are often treated for anxiety or depression before receiving an ADHD diagnosis. It is crucial not to discount ADHD in females simply because they may not display the behavioral problems commonly associated with males. What causes ADHD? Genetics. There is uncertainty surrounding the causes of ADHD, although it is generally believed to have neurological and genetic origins. This means that if someone has ADHD, there is a good chance that they have a family member who also has the condition. Brain differences. Research suggests that there is a structural difference in the brains of those with ADHD compared to those who do not have the condition. It was found that those with ADHD had reduced gray matter volumes in their anterior cingulate cortex, occipital cortex, cerebellar regions, and bilateral hippocampus amygdala. This reduction in gray matter volume could explain why people with ADHD attentional problems, since gray matter is involved in learning, memory, cognitive processes, and attention. However, whether ADHD is the cause or effect of these brain differences is debatable. Environmental factors. There are believed to be some factors in the environment that may increase the likelihood of someone having ADHD. Exposure to lead or pesticides in early childhood, premature birth or low weight at birth, brain injury. It has been believed in the past that certain environmental factors may cause ADHD. Although these have not been found to be the case, Some of the factors that do not cause ADHD include watching excessive amounts of TV, eating sugar, family stress, parenting styles, and traumatic experiences. Even though environmental factors such as family stress do not cause ADHD, they can change the way ADHD presents itself and may result in additional problems such as antisocial behaviors. Researchers are continuing to study the exact relationship between ADHD and environmental factors, but point out that there is no single cause that can account for all cases of ADHD. Dopamine levels. Underlying differences in the brain are likely to be an underlying cause of ADHD, with some researchers looking at dopamine as a possible contributor. Dopamine is a chemical of the brain that regulates emotional responses and is involved in motivation, feelings of pleasure, and rewards. People with ADHD may have different levels of dopamine compared to people without ADHD. Studies suggest that one of the reasons for this difference is that people with ADHD have more of a protein called dopamine transporters in their brain. These proteins can reduce dopamine levels in the brain, which may contribute to ADHD signs. Studies also suggest that the dopamine pathway involved in reward and motivation may play a role in ADHD, while more research is needed. Some studies have found that a specific type of dopamine transporter may affect certain traits of ADHD, such as mood instability, coexisting conditions. More than 2/3 of people who have ADHD also have at least one other coexisting condition. Occasionally, ADHD may overshadow other conditions, making it harder to notice. Likewise, the other condition may overshadow ADHD, meaning that ADHD can go undiagnosed in some mood disorders. Studies suggest that up to 53% of adults with ADHD may also have depression. Approximately 14% of children with ADHD have depression compared to 1% of children without ADHD. Up to 20% of those with ADHD may also show signs of bipolar disorder. Typically, the ADHD signs will occur first, followed by the mood disorder, perhaps because of the struggles those with ADHD face. Anxiety. It is common for people with ADHD to also have a coexisting anxiety disorder. Some anxiety disorders include generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. People with ADHD may find it difficult to keep up with daily tasks and maintain relationships, so this could increase anxious feelings as a result. Likewise, people with ADHD are more likely to experience an anxiety disorder compared to those without ADHD. Autism. Autism is characterized by differences in social communication, social interaction, and behavior, with a wide range of characteristics such as sensory differences, restricted interests, and repetitive behaviors. Autism and ADHD are believed to commonly co-occur. It is unclear precisely how common it is, but scientific literature suggests 50–70% of autistic individuals may have co-occurring ADHD, tic and Tourette syndrome. It is common for those with Tourette syndrome to have coexisting ADHD. Tics include sudden, rapid, involuntary movements or vocalizations. Tourette syndrome is rare, but most severe, involving
making involuntary noises or movements on an almost daily basis for years. These extra challenges can make it harder for a child to manage at school and can worsen feelings of anxiety and depression. Can ADHD be managed? ADHD can be managed through medications, therapy, coaching, or self-help methods. Below are some ways in which ADHD can be managed. Please note this is not an exhaustive list and should not be taken as a replacement for medical advice. Seek support from a health professional if you think you need support for ADHD. Medication. ADHD medications come in two types: stimulant and non-stimulant. Stimulants may help people with ADHD focus better by increasing dopamine levels in the brain. Common stimulant medications include Ritalin, Adderall, and Vyvanse. However, these medications can have side effects like addiction, sleep problems, or heart problems. Non-stimulant medications are not as commonly prescribed as stimulant medications and are more often used for those with severe anxiety. They work differently than stimulants by blocking the reuptake of neurotransmitters, like norepinephrine and dopamine, resulting in increased levels in the brain. Popular non-stimulant medications include Wellbutrin and Strattera, atomoxetine. Behavior therapy. For some, behavior therapy can help people with ADHD learn the skills required to control some of their signs. The goal of behavior therapy is to replace unhelpful behaviors with more helpful ones. This therapy can teach people strategies to improve problem areas like organization, focus, impulse control, or anything else that is an issue for those with ADHD. Many find that behavior therapy can help them effectively manage their ADHD signs without using medications. Although behavior therapy does not affect brain chemistry, it can teach people skills that make it easier to navigate at school, work, home, and in relationships. Cognitive behavioral therapy. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, behavioral therapy as well as cognitive behavioral therapy can help people with ADHD. CBT can help people recognize how their thoughts affect their behavior so that they can reframe these thoughts so they have more helpful or realistic ones in. Thus, more control over their signs. CBT involves working with a therapist to notice any thought and behavioral patterns, challenge unhelpful thoughts, cope with stress, deal with stressful obligations, and learn new ways to manage everyday life, as well as helping with ADHD. CBT can help people manage other conditions that may coexist alongside their ADHD, such as mood and anxiety disorders, self-help methods, alongside medication and therapy for treatments. There are some strategies individuals with ADHD can implement into their lives to help manage or cope with their signs and navigate everyday life. Having a consistent schedule with structure and regular expectations. Making lists of things that need doing daily and adding to them when new ideas emerge. Keeping a calendar and setting reminders to minimize the chance that important events or appointments get forgotten. For children, they can write down homework assignments and keep everyday items such as toys and backpacks in assigned spots so they are less likely to get lost. A child's parent can also establish structure around meals, homework, and playtime. Breaking tasks into manageable pieces and ensuring regular break times can help with feeling overwhelmed. Taking breaks when studying or working and leaving the room, going for a walk or doing another task can help to let out energy and help with feelings of boredom and lack of focus. Simplify and organize life, e.g., assign specific quiet places to read or undertake a hobby to take a break from everyday chaos. Reduce unnecessary distractions. Distractions such as TV and video games could encourage impulsive behaviors and can be better regulated. Undertaking regular exercise can help burn energy and stimulate the brain in a healthy way. This can help to focus attention on specific movements and decrease impulsivity. Help concentration and decrease the risk of anxiety or depression. Regulate sleeping patterns. Cutting down on sugar, caffeine, and screen time as much as possible can help with establishing a sleep pattern, as a lack of sleep can exacerbate inattention, hyperactivity, and recklessness. Promoting wait times. Pausing to consider actions can encourage thoughtful responses. Breathing exercises in times of feeling overwhelmed or when the brain is having multiple thoughts at once can help to calm down. Other relaxation exercises, such as yoga, Tai Chi, mindfulness, meditation, and spending time outdoors can help calm overactive minds and ease signs. ADHD is a disorder that is defined through analysis of behavior. People with ADHD show a persistent pattern of inattention and/or hyperactivity, impulsivity that interferes with day-to-day.
Functioning and development, definition and diagnosis. The relied on definition is set out by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. These criteria are presented in shortened form and are for information. Only diagnosis can only be done by a medical professional. Inattention. 6 or more symptoms of inattention for children up to age 16 years, or 5 or more for adolescents aged 17 years and older and adults. Symptoms of inattention have been present for at least 6 months and they are inappropriate for developmental level. Often fails to give close attention to details or makes careless mistakes in schoolwork, at work, or with other activities. Often has trouble holding attention on tasks or play activities. Often does not seem to listen when spoken to directly. Often does not follow through on instructions and fails to finish schoolwork, chores, or duties in the workplace. E.g. loses focus, sidetracked. Often has trouble organizing tasks and activities. Often avoids, dislikes, or is reluctant to do tasks that require mental effort over a long period of time, such as schoolwork or homework. Often loses things necessary for tasks and activities, e.g. school materials, pencils, books, tools, wallets, keys, paperwork, eyeglasses, mobile telephones. Is often easily distracted. Is often forgetful in daily activities, hyperactivity and impulsivity. 6 or more symptoms of hyperactivity, impulsivity for children up to age 16 years, or 5 or more for adolescents aged 17 years and older and adults. Symptoms of hyperactivity, impulsivity have been present for at least 6 months to an extent that is disruptive and inappropriate for the person's developmental level. Often fidgets with or taps hands or feet, or squirms in seat. Often leaves seat in situations when remaining seated is expected. Often runs about or climbs in situations where it is not appropriate. Adolescents or adults may be limited to feeling restless. Often unable to play or take part in leisure activities quietly. Is often on the go, acting as if driven by a motor. Often talks excessively. Often blurts out an answer before a question has been completed. Often has trouble waiting their turn. Often interrupts or intrudes on others. In addition, the following conditions must be met. Several inattentive or hyperactive impulsive symptoms were present before age 12 years. Several symptoms are present in 2 or more settings, such as at home, school, or work with friends or relatives, and other activities. There is clear evidence that the symptoms interfere with or reduce the quality of social, school, or work functioning. The symptoms are not better explained by another mental disorder, such as a mood disorder, anxiety disorder, dissociative disorder, or a personality disorder. The symptoms do not happen only during the course of schizophrenia or another psychotic disorder. Diagnosing ADHD in adults. ADHD often lasts into adulthood. To diagnose ADHD in adults and adolescents age 17 years or older, only 5 symptoms are needed instead of the 6 needed for younger children. Symptoms might look different at older ages. For example, in adults, hyperactivity may appear as extreme restlessness or wearing others out with their activity. If you are an adult looking for indications that you might have ADHD, you can take the WHO Screener Survey here. There is a piercing. There is a persistent thought from some parts of the general population that ADHD requires some form of hyperactivity. This is not the case based on the above criteria. There are 3 kinds of ADHD that can occur because symptoms can change over time. The presentation may change over time as well. Combined presentation. If enough symptoms of both criteria, inattention and hyperactivity, impulsivity, were present for the past 6 months, predominantly hyperactive, impulsive presentation. If enough symptoms of hyperactivity, impulsivity were present for the past 6 months. Incidents. Summary. We believe the best data is for the UK, is from the Lancet and NICE, given a childhood incidence rate of 5% and an adult incidence rate of 3-4%. That provides for a total estimate of 2-6 million people in the UK with ADHD. For a full breakdown of this population estimate, childhood ADHD in the UK, a research survey of 458 children between the ages of 5 and 15 years found that 3.62% of boys and 85% of girls had ADHD. Global prevalence is considered to be between 2 and 7%, with an average of 5%. The challenge for getting an exact incidence is that different countries
organizations and professionals draw the line in different places for where they consider impairment to start. And therefore, where they consider naming ADHD, research conducted in Newcastle showed prevalence of 11% when asking about the symptoms, but not looking for impairment.
Then with impairment, they found 6-7% with moderately low impairment, 4.2% for moderate impairments, and 4% for severe pervasive impairment.
Regarding the gender split, girls.
There's an active discussion about whether female ADHD is underdiagnosed, and if so, the reasons for that.
ADHD changes with age.
It is thought that some children no longer have impairments. However, the majority, around 65%, retain some impairments in adulthood. The same study estimated prevalence of adult ADHD at 4.
The UK NICE guidelines provide for an adult incidence rate of between 3 and 4%. In our population estimate, we use the midpoint number of 3.5%.
How the impact of ADHD changes with age.
The impact of ADHD differs with age, reflecting both the changing maturity of the individual and the changing circumstances and expectations on them. As they mature, an individual may be better able to cope, but they may continue to struggle due to the increased behavioral expectations on them.
For those with hyperactivity, a child may command incessant and demanding extremes of activity. Then as an adolescent, moving to fidgeting instead of larger movements. And as adult, having a sustained inner sense of restlessness and attention may diminish in absolute terms. An attention span normally improves with age, but it usually lags behind that of unaffected people and behind the level that is expected and needed for everyday attainments.
What causes ADHD? There is no one cause of ADHD. It is considered to be a result of an often complex interplay between genetic and environmental factors, with genetic factors being responsible for 70%, 80% of the probability.
Treatment plans are dependent on an individual's specific circumstance. The options, used individually or together, include psychological therapies, including psychoeducational input, behavioral therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy.
Either alone or in groups.
Interpersonal psychotherapy,
IPT.
social skills training. Generally for children, family therapy, school-based interventions, parent or carer management training, occupational therapy, speech and language therapy.
Medication.